Hey guys, a long time ago, miniatures painter decided to get back into it after I don't know how long, but long. And I'm a big fan of Blitz bowl, and was looking for some information on magnetizing the balls, and I didn't find that much. I came across some articles, but no actual videos. So I thought I would go ahead and make a video of my process, even though it's being filmed from, basically a kind of like potato camera, and it's not going to be the best quality video. I apologize in advance. I'm just gonna jump right into it. I'm sorry I already primed some of these balls, so now they're going to be even harder to see. But the basics are you get yourself some of these super tiny magnets, and a pin vise. A pin vise is looks a little something like this, and you use it to drill into your miniatures to help place magnets. You can get one of these on Amazon for like, I don't know, 10 bucks with different size drill bits. I know I was using a drill bit that was slightly too small for these balls. You know what, I don't even know the size. I was just eyeballing it. This one I haven't tried using yet, but I think this one will be more to size, although it looks gargantuan for some reason. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and begin by picking one of your balls and figuring out where you want the magnet to sit flush, and do the best job you can drilling out a hole that's deep enough. And I didn't do that great a job, like I said, because I was using a smaller drill bit than I should have been. So this one's actually fairly flush compared to my other one over here, the human ball. This one isn't that flush, as you can see. It doesn't really have to be that perfect. It's just a ball. It's going to be tossed around the field, and once you're magnetizing it, that's going to be, on the base. Here's my Humi. So, I mean, it's just going to sit there on the base. You're not going to see it anyway, so don't even worry if it's not totally flush. All right, so you're going to want to drill your hole, put a little dab of glue in there, and, just drop your magnet down in there. You won't have to worry about polarity yet, because that's going to become your master. It's going to determine your polarity for your bases if you decide to even do polarity. What you can do instead of putting magnets on the bottom, you can put like a metal nut or a metal washer, or I don't know, 12 gauge maybe sheet metal, just something metal you can glue in down here, and then you won't have to worry about ball polarity at all. Now, when I ordered the magnets on Amazon, these are 2mm by 1mm. I'll put a link in the description to the exact ones I got in case you want to use these. People use different size magnets, so it's kind of up to you, but I have so many dang magnets here that I just decided I was going to use all the magnets. So I don't, I'm not going to put metal on the bottom. I'm just going to work with the polarity, which is kind of a pain in the butt, to be honest. If you don't have to work with polarity, don't. But, because these magnets are really small. Again, like, they're just super tiny. Ridiculously small. So it's a little difficult to work with polarity. What you can do is you can go ahead and put like a little Sharpie marker on one side or something. But what I like to do is I'll take one of my balls and I'll figure out polarity by, let's say I'm gonna do this, and I want to put the magnet in the base, but I'm going to use my master ball and kind of put it on top, and then pick up the magnet, right? And then it's going to show me which way to glue the magnet to the base. So that's how I do polarity issues. All right, so the next step you're going to want to do is, if you're done magnetizing these, which don't have the little nubby on the bottom, like these have the little nubby, you just snip this off with, your cutters to make it flush. And then you're going to want to drill up into here. These are actually the easier ones to magnetize than the actual ball ones. you know, because obviously you have more surface area to work with. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll get back to you. Okay, so now my squiggy ball is nice and flat and flush here. Just go ahead and take an X-Acto blade or file it. Just make it nice and flat, just to get ready for your drilling. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my drill bit, my pin vise, and drill a hole that's deep enough, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so I drilled out the hole, and I tested it with a magnet. It's pretty good. It'll sit nice and flush. And what I need to do now is figure out my polarity. So I took one of the bases I already magnetized. Has a magnet on the bottom there. And determined that, you know, this is what my polarity is going to be. So I need to glue this top part into there. So that's definitely a really fiddly process because the magnet is so dang small. You could use maybe a little dab of green stuff or putty or something on a toothpick to help you kind of maneuver that stuff, but yeah, I'm just going to go at it with my fingers because, you know, we all like to make mistakes. And I'll be right back. Okay, so did that. And while that is all drying and such, I'm going to explain a little bit about where to put the magnets on the bases. Now I've got multiple Blitz bowl teams, and a lot of them, especially the starter ones, come with slotted, well, they all come with slotted bases, but a lot of the figures don't come with the bar between their feet to put into the slots. If you have a team like that, like say Nurgle, you're going to want to cover that slot. Just use a piece of tape. You could probably see there, even though it's bad quality video and it's all primed already, the piece of tape that I used to block the slot. If you already have your figures on the base for whatever reason and you did not do that step, because we all like to make mistakes, right? You can go ahead and just be real fiddly with it and get some really thin pieces of tape to stick in between their legs and whatnot. Now, I wasn't quite sure whether I should have the figures all facing the hole that's where it's supposed to hold the ball, or if it would be better to face like an open area of the base for magnet placement. I wasn't quite sure, so I kind of did a little of everything. I am going to suggest, if you get these size magnets, to have the figure facing the hole. It's not 100% necessary. Like if you have your figures on your bases already, don't really worry about it too much. It works just fine with just sticking the magnet to the base. It's slightly weaker. Where's my pasty ball? Right here. If I can pick it up. Obviously that one's already magnetized. It is slightly weaker than having the magnet right inside that hole. But you can always, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 magnets there instead of the 1 magnet and make it just a little bit stronger, because I think once I get basing material on here, it might be just a little bit too weak. But I didn't want super strong magnets either, because then you face figures maybe having issues, like when a player is prone on the board, they might stick together, or maybe in transit, if you're going to your gaming center or whatever, you don't want your guys sticking together during transport. Well, this leads to the problem that I've run into is these magnets are just small enough to go right through that hole. And that's actually not a problem. I discovered, I thought it was at first. I do have larger magnets than this, but again, I didn't want to risk, something too overpowered. So I did find a way of working with that. Here is one of my Humies, and I put a piece of tape on top of the base before putting the magnet in there. I got a hold of my, my main ball for polarity testing. Yep. Come on, ball. Get. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. Well, normally that doesn't happen. Normally you can kind of chuck the ball there and it'll just go, but okay. So I have a piece of tape down. I hold this down because when you do this, there's going to be no magnet on the bottom. Hold that ball down. Go ahead and hover over one of your magnets. And it should fly right up into that hole. You can't even see the magnet that's currently in here. Oh, there you go. But, you know, hover over your magnet. It should fly into the hole. It might take maybe a toothpick or something, maneuver it to make sure that that magnet is flat. That's going to be important. Make sure the magnet is flat in there. Then you're going to want to, they'll stick together at that point, so you don't have to keep holding the ball. Then drop a dab of glue in there. Sit this somewhere so it dries, you know, like this. And then the magnet will be completely glued, not to the tape, although it will be somewhat glued to the tape. This tape is going to stay here. You're not taking that tape off. But the magnet will glue to the plastic, and then you'll have a nice strong connection for your ball. So that's basically how I do it. I will try to do that. I'll show you how to do that with my my non-finished Orky. I'll take this guy off the base, and then I'll put a piece of tape there, and then go from there. Drop the magnet in there, drop some glue in there, and then I'll come back. Okay, so this is a little fiddly. I'll try to show it. You know, I should really have a camera mount, but, you know, I don't really do YouTube very much anymore, so I don't have the setup. But you can see I put tape on all my holes here. And again, you can always not use the hole option. You could, like I said, you can put the magnet anywhere. But this is if you're doing the hole option with the hole in front of the minis. I got my master ball here. As you can see, it will pull up the tape. You can see I held the ball against the tape. Then I dropped in the magnet right into that hole. I can't really focus on, but it looks pretty flat. So what I'm going to do next is go ahead and drop a little dab of glue in there. You don't want to flood that hole because you don't want any glue running out of the sides of the tape and then gluing your ball down. So watch for that. Just use a little glue in there at first, and then once you can remove the ball, you can add more glue. So no problem. I'm going to go ahead and do that and be right back. Okay, so this is one of the bases where I did not put the Hobbit directly in front, standing in front of the hole, because again, I wasn't sure which would be the best option. And I have the magnet placed towards the end, you know, in front of them, as far forward as possible. I put a dab of glue on there because I want the magnet to be slightly stronger than it is. Got the little magnet right there. And it will match up the polarity. And bam. Now they're going to be glued together. No problems there. And the ball will be much stronger. This would be much easier with some kind of camera stand. But you get the idea. It's going to be a little bit more stronger. I would say it equals, these two magnets equal the strength of having one magnet in the hole. You know, give or take, you know. You don't need that much strength when you're playing with the ball. So you don't want to have too powerful of magnets, just again to avoid models tackling each other in your transport boxes or on the table when you don't want them to tackle, you know what I mean? And I think that's about all I can explain about these balls. Here's the one I just glued. I have it sitting upside down just to aid with the, you know, gluing. You can see some of the glue came through on that tape a little bit, so I'm going to want to move that ball off as soon as I feel the connection has been made with the magnet to the plastic and have a nice solid bond there. And I'll come back when this is done. Well, while that's drying, you're probably asking yourself, well, what am I going to do with the Nurgle ball? right? If you're a Nurgle player, you're probably like, what am I gonna... I know I'm asking myself that question. I'm not too sure. I don't know if I'm gonna take that giant drill bit and go right in the center, or if I should take a smaller drill bit and maybe drill up through this foot, like a really, really thin drill bit, not the one I'm currently using. Something much smaller, and then maybe take a piece of metal wire and stick it up into, you know, as far as it can go. I'm not really sure what to do with the Nurgle ball. I'm kind of leaning more towards the metal idea. If I can get a piece of metal wire, but you're talking an incredibly thin area, and I do have drill bits somewhere in here that can go. What do I got? Let me see. Shoot. I have them all like magnetized to, hang on. Well, okay, well, I have a few different bits. And when you get a pin vise, you'll probably get some of these. Maybe this would work. I don't know. I think I have even smaller than that. But even that is pretty big compared to that foot. You don't have a lot to work with here. I'm almost thinking of just, you know, putting a magnet up in his groin and hoping that works, but then I don't know if it'll be that strong of a connection. I certainly don't want to put the magnet in the butt. That doesn't make any sense, because then, I mean, he'd stick to the base, sure, but he'd be laying down. So I guess that one's going to be up to you, what you want to do. I think I am going to lean towards getting the smallest. I think I have something smaller than this. And again, I don't know the millimeters of these things, unfortunately. Now, my magnets are 2 millimeter by 1 millimeter. And I believe my drill bit here is 2 millimeters. Because that made a really nice hole compared to the one I was using. The one I was using was just slightly too small, and I had to take an X-Acto blade and kind of like widen it. That was no good. That's just asking to get cut. So, and Nurgle ball is going to take a little bit of figuring, but all of the other balls are pretty self-explanatory. You got your little Skaven ball here. And anything with a nub on it just gives you plenty of room. Plenty of room, so don't even worry with the nubby ones. Now the sandwich one for halflings, not a problem. Just gonna, you know, drill a hole out in the center here. No biggie. Really nice. The dwarf ball. Where's my dwarf ball? I just had it a second ago. Okay. This one's a little bit, you know, because you got these nice designs on the side. But I'll probably put the magnet in here, where there isn't a design, of course. So that shouldn't be too much of a problem. And my Orky, I did take the master ball off, and you could see where the glue is on the tape, but it is secure now. So that's nice. So he's done in terms of being magnetized. I'm not finished painting him yet. I still have to do the armor and the pants and some others, you know, his fabrics here. But other than that, that's how you magnetize your Blood Bowl balls. This video probably ran longer than it had to, but, you know, I wish somebody else had made the video. There's tons of, you know, mini painters out there that are more into the hobby than I am, better than me, and I don't know. I just couldn't find one that was even told me what size magnet would be the best, and I can't even tell you if my magnet is the best. All I'm saying is I went for trying to put it into the hole because I didn't want to have to cut. Let's take this guy. I didn't want to have to cut this plastic hole. I've tried it, and it's a pain. It's a real pain in the butt trying to cut that rim around that hole. And like I said, like in some of them, on some of the models, I mean, if you have to put them, because they're Slata models, you know, they have your long bar, what have you, I mean, there's no way some of these balls are going to fit right there. You know, where this guy's charging. There's no way. Like, what ball is it that I have? Skaven. This thing is massive. It'll never fit there. Like, it'll not, like, again, I'm sorry that I'm only using one hand here, but you get the idea. Look at the size of that ball. I mean, with the wisps of poison, noxious, whatever's coming out of there, that ain't gonna fit on that base. So for him, I'm just gonna go ahead and put the magnet on the back and just make it easy. It'll fit all the balls, and I won't even have to worry about it. So, no problems. It's just insane. It's just insane. So yeah, I mean, that's huge. But I love it. It's so cool. But again, like I say, don't worry too much about where those holes are unless you absolutely want to make sure the magnets are in front of the characters. And try to place them as best as you can. And in some instances, like this guy, you know, and the hole's in front and you know it's not going to fit some of the balls, don't feel bad about using the backspace. There's no problem. As long as it's easier to play with on the table, you know? So, and yeah, that's it. I guess I'm done explaining at least my technique for Blood Bowl balls. I have read an article where some people put the magnets in the bases and they put like metal paperclip shards or whatever inside the balls if they didn't have a large enough drill bit. So that's an option too, if you like. But I'll put a link in the description for the exact Amazon magnets that I bought in case you want these. I mean, these, you get so many. Like, I just thought, yeah, I'll just work with the fiddly polarity and not worry about finding metal to glue into the bases. So, I like it. It's nice. And it's going to make gameplay that much easier. So, hope you enjoyed. Sorry again for the lousy quality of video, but oh well. I should be scrub painter and not sledge painter, right? This thing, I didn't show you the squeaky ball that I finished. My squeaky ball, I should have painted this before doing this video, but it was early and I just got up and I said, I'm going to shoot that video. So with the glue, I guess I should have maybe drilled a little deeper to make room for some of that glue. It's not entirely super flush, but you know, I'm not going to be picky. I'm not going to be picky. So where's my guy? Okay, so moment of truth, right? Squeaky ball. Squeaky ball. Come on, work with me. Come on. Get on there. Okay, there we go. So squeaky ball on the base. And it's a beautiful thing. Or it will be beautiful once I once I get it painted. Now, what I am going to do when I base these guys is I'm going to try to have like a thin area up front. Just to, you know, not too much grass, because I don't want the grass to be matted down by the balls over time or wear out or whatever. So I'm going to paint like a Grelin earth, I think it is. You know, that nice cracked earth here. Just a thin area, and then I'll use thicker stuff, you know, around the sides and in the back. Just to try to keep that magnet nice and strong and not destroy any of my grass or whatever that I'm putting on there. So that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed.